fundraising because government help us because we are representing the country in this area of the world. So thank you so much for coming, and I think Mr. Bob will explain to you the mechanics of this Olympics in Greece. We are about sending many athletes, I think 58 as of now, unless there is a backup, no, Alex? So, yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Ono, for that.
Okay, good afternoon to all. My name is Alex Babs. I'm the National Executive Director for the Philippine Program of Special Olympics. I'd like to thank you first, most of all, for giving us the time to join us at this noon. This coming Sunday morning at 3 a.m., we are 38 athletes and 12 coaches, together with 2 officials, are leaving for Athens, Greece. We will arrive in Athens, Greece on June 19, 6:30 in the evening, to join 7,000 other athletes around the world from 170 countries worldwide. The reason for this is we are holding the 13th World Summer Games. And I'm emphasizing this is Summer Games because next year in Korea, we will be holding the Special Olympics Winter Games. The Summer Games is held every 4 years, just like the regular Olympics, which will be held in London next year. Traditionally, Special Olympics always comes 1 year before the regular Olympics. The next Special Olympics World Games will be held in 2015 in Cape Town, South Africa. Now, in the Asia Pacific region, we have 22 countries, and all of us from the Asia Pacific region will be participating in the World Summer Games. Because traditionally, Asia is identical or similar to China. But the Asia Pacific region does not include China. So we are very, very particular in stating that we in the Philippines are part of the Asia Pacific region. Because when you go to the World Games, in international competitions, they normally say, Asia Pacific, panalo na naman yan. China will dominate us again with their 500 athletes competing in practically all events. I would just like to state that we are very sensitive to that because our Filipino intellectually disabled athletes can shine on their own without the help of the big countries. As far as the World Games is concerned, the Philippine team will participate in 7 sports events. These are badminton, aquatics, athletics, bocce, gymnastics, rhythmic gymnastics, bowling, and powerlifting. We are sending a total of 38 athletes, accompanied by 12 coaches. We will be staying for about 16 days, that is a duration from the 20th of June, and we will be returning on the 5th of July. In the last 2007 games held in Shanghai, China, we sent 52 athletes, and they returned home with 51 medals, among which was 9 gold medals in powerlifting, bowling, rhythmic gymnastics. I think we also had in athletics, not too sure. And then the rest was an assortment of silver and gold medals. You can say that, my God, but you can't compare yourself to the regular Olympics. In skill, probably, in training, not really. But I'll tell you something. Sports is all about competition. And nobody can win in sports if the person himself cannot be an achiever. And that is the mission of Special Olympics. We want to develop our handicapped Filipinos, our forgotten Filipinos, our neglected Filipinos, whom 90% of our society, I'm sad to say, classified as useless or morons. How can you be a moron if you can win a medal competing with athletes from 170 countries? How many of us here have ever represented our country in an international sports event? How many of you have been acclaimed as a champion in bowling, scoring 250, 260? That's the question I always throw back to our so-called civilized and sophisticated society. That's why even our government, sad to say, they give us very low priorities when it comes to this thing. Can you imagine, how much do they spend for the Southeast Asian Games? How much do they spend for the Asian Games? Then, if you're going to ask me, how much did the government spend for you people? I'll tell you, zero. Most of our funding came from the private sector. We did get a little help from PACOR, but PACOR is also one of our stable patrons. Now I'm going to ask you, how many athletes did you say you're sending? I'm sending 38. How many coaches? Only 12. And how many officials? 2. Those of you who are familiar with the sports in this country, just think back. How many officials did you send to the Asian Games? How many officials did they send to the World Games, Olympic Games? I think the proportion is probably the same. 1:1. And then we ask ourselves, how many medals do they bring home? How much honor do they bring home to our country? But the most important question here is, how much did the government spend for them? That is why we are asking the help of the media. If you can just support us, not financially, maybe you want to find, but what we need from you guys is let the community know that there are these intellectually disabled Filipino athletes who will now compete in the world stage of sports. And most of them are going there because they want to show the community that they also can be winners. You know, after the games, nobody remembers them. You won't even look at our Down syndrome athletes because right away most of our Filipino society will say, ay, MR yan eh. Ay, naku, bobo yan. You see somebody who's autistic, you say, anak, nanalo yan sa bowling. Kung na kung kumilos, para sira ulo. But you don't know. Probably. That bowler, that autistic guy there, bested almost 50 others on the same level, of course. But he bested them, won the gold, and for that he brought honors to our country. And how does the country repay them? You know, even give them a second look. But with your help, with your message to the community, to the society, Okay? Just tell our countrymen, we are participating in a world event. Mind you, this is no PBA game where you only get about 20,000 people. This is even bigger than the Pacquiao fight. Maybe not in the terms of TV, but when it comes to the number of participants, because there will be 7,500 athletes, about 40,000 coaches, 100,000 volunteers. Volunteers, and I'm stressing the word volunteers. These are not hired people. They don't get anything out of this. And of course, world media will cover them even for a day, for an hour. But CNN, Associated Press, all of them will be there. So again, thank you so much for giving us the time here. And please, if you can help us, not really in terms of economic aid or financial aid, but by telling people, hey, excuse me, have you ever heard of the intellectually challenged athlete who just arrived from Athens and won a gold over there? Have you ever heard of him? But before we leave on Saturday, maybe you can tell your friends, through the media of course, here are this group of people, Filipinos, 38 of them, who have trained hard and now are carrying the flag of the Philippines. They're going to compete against 150 other countries. So, why don't we just say, give them a good word and hope for the best for them. And then when they come back, you can be sure we will let you know what these guys achieve. So now I'll leave it to Marco. We'll have the open question. Thank you again so much.
Thank you, Sir Alex. Any one of you who has a question, guys?
Sir, since when did it start?
Well, the Special Olympics started in the Philippines in 1978. In the world, it started in 1968 through the efforts of Eunice Kennedy, who married to the Peace Corps guy, Shriver, that's his first name. Because the sister of Eunice was also a special child, Rosemary. But at the time, because of ignorance and because of cultural bias, her father, the great ambassador to England, put her in a mental asylum. And because he had the funds, he was rich, he allowed the doctors to experiment on her brains by injecting her with the so-called advanced medicines. Yeah. They wanted instead of an operation. And because of that, Eunice, who was the sister of Rosemary, was touched and she really felt bad about this thing. So what she did, after she was able to do so, she organized a small camp, summer camp, bringing in only intellectually disabled children and adults to their house in Massachusetts. And from there, in 1968, she organized the first inter-country tournament between the United States, which at the time was only Chicago, Illinois, and Canada. They started with 1,000 athletes participating. And on June 25, in our opening ceremonies, there will be 7,000 athletes from 170 countries.